heavyweight in the lead scene, producer, label owner with E-numbers, an all-round top bloke, Bobby ODonnell. Welcome.
Send us in the post, mate. Cheers. Sound. I can swear on this, can't I? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, sound. Well, that was bloody nice of you, but bloody's not really a swear word. We'll get into them later. He said drinking water. Drinking water.
That's Bobby. That's a gateway swear word. Once you say that opens up to a world of possibilities.
I've already swore. I just dropped the F-bomb.
That's all right.
It's a gateway swear word.
That's all right. Well,
Slang, I think it's where the swear words start.
Well, I think we first met a couple of years ago. I don't know if you remember an outdoor rave called Shifting Sounds in Newcastle. And I don't know if you ended up actually playing that night because the generator packed in. Did you actually?
Yeah, the Jenny packed in the middle of me playing, mate. Yeah, so I did play for like 45 minutes to an hour or so, and then we went back to
Arnold's.
Yeah, Arnold's. God, how is he? He makes.
Yeah, he's all right. He's getting on.
He's making some amazing music.
Yeah, no, he's a wicked producer.
Yeah. Do you still kick about? You can't really. Is everyone still everyone all that crew still sort of like talk to each other and still? It seemed like a really tight knit, close group of friends.
He's been a little bit quiet recently. Shout out to Arnold if he's listening.
Yeah, shout out to Arnold, by the way.
Shifting Sounds, Bad Boy Party. Yeah, but I haven't spoken to him like quite a while.
Right.
Maybe it's time to reconnect. I'm going to reconnect with him.
Should. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that was a cool little party, like out sort of.
That was a funny night.
Under a bridge. I was just wondering if you've what sort of the best places that you've had raves, and like if there are any other little rave places like that you've played at.
Do you know what? I've only done a couple of them, to be honest. But my mates, Thomas Midgley, Mike Stockwell and Thomas Midgley, they both do a night or a pop-up event, you'd call it. They just throw raves out in very similar places. It reminded me of what they do. They're rigged there. But what Shifting Sounds were doing that night is in, I think it was like last September 2019, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, and that's that year and the preceding years, like 2017, 18, they did quite a few. So I'd usually go to them. So I'd go to the forest raves and river raves and things like that. I forget the names, but yeah. They were ace. So it does happen. I think it's going to start happening a bit more now, when the shackles are a little bit more off. But I mean, knows. It's just as long as people can dance together. I don't think they really care where it's going to be at this point.
Exactly, and I mean, obviously, with I don't know what your opinions are on obviously Leeds City Centre and the venues. A lot of them have been closed recently. Obviously, Mint Club's closed, so it is going to cause people to have these raves outside of the city. But
yeah, it is. It has been. There's been quite a lot of them in Leeds. I've never been to one straight up. I've never. Just I don't know. I'd just rather go to a club.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd rather just wait, go to a club, man.
What's your sort of opinion on the venue situation in Leeds and how it's changed over the years?
I don't really. There's been less of them. Obviously, Mint Club went. A few other places come and go, or they just don't sustain as well, so they just don't do as much. There's been Wire's a constant one, as is Mint Warehouse. But I don't really. There's just more like. There's literally, I think, like those two clubs and a couple of other places. Wharf Chambers do things. Districts always does stuff. I don't think there's much more really at the moment. And it's going to be hard to. So it's going to be worse to see if this goes on for any longer. If people can actually reopen. Yeah. You know, it might force people to shut. And that's the sort of that's the worst sort of eventuality, isn't it?
Does it look like, as far as your side with Mint, that might be a real
no.
situation?
I don't think so. No. I don't think so. They're still planning. They're always planning for stuff. We've got with earmarks booked in a festival at Temple Newson. Newson Park it's called. But I don't know whether that goes ahead. So I don't know. I don't really. I speak to Foz, who's the man, who's the promoter, but I speak to he's like the head of promotions, but he's my best friend and he has been since like we were kids. So I don't really speak to him too much about Mint. He's just thinking of new things to sort of do when everyone's just anticipating something, but it's also vague. So there's nothing to do. It's just a complete sort of barren sort of land at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah,
well, no man's land at least. Yeah.
Obviously, they've revamped Mint Warehouse quite recently, and then it had to close. I think you played at one event they reopened for during August, wasn't it? And then
and then they came and shut us down. It was a bit of a piss take, to be honest. Yeah, as you'd expect. You know, people were just trying to like sit down and have a rave, like really, like no one wanted to do that anyway, in a sense. But it was all compliant and there was nothing wrong. But it still got shut down. I think a lot of other places that weekend got shut down because it was about to like. Go into different tier structures from the Monday onwards. So they were the last ones. So a couple of places did bear the brunt of that, and it was just exhausting after the fact that not for myself, but for everyone who's promoting it. Like just a bit shit, really, isn't it? You know what I mean? But
so was it that one on the Friday?
You just got to sort of get on with it. I don't know.
Did that one on the Friday?
Yeah. So like me and Annie warmed up, and ends up, me and Annie warmed up for like the first 2 hours, and then Enzo played for about an hour, and then you just saw like the police come in with this lady from the council, or the lady from, I can only assume like from like the board of some. I should have a better context of that, but I think the decision maker, if you will.
Waving the paper. That's
a diplomatic way of saying it as well.
You weren't just citing the Magna Carta, were you?
I think it just came. No.
Common law. You seen those videos on Facebook where they're like, common law, I'm going to carry on me set.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, Magna Carta was quite a while back now, wasn't it?
Yeah, so, I think it actually
back in the day.
It actually says in the Magna Carta you must play Tech House for at least 8 hours before you can be shut down.
Yeah, exactly. It does.
So obviously you're one of the sort of longest standing residents in possibly in the UK, but definitely in Leeds. How did it come about for you?
Well, not the ones who are basic residents have been going for longer, I'd say, but after certainly like one of the longest in some capacity. But how did we come about?
How did you come about to become a resident?
Well, I knew Annie from just from music, really, from like just going about, and she was always DJing at the time and stuff. And she was a resident of the Halton Moor pub raves, which was the pub that Shane, who owns the Mint, used to own, and used to put like 2-day raves on and all this. And I was I just knew I knew Annie, and she was telling me about Shane and all this, and we just all got to know each other really. And I played at the Mint Club once, but sort of as that. I think it was in 2007. It was just when it was sort of changing hands, and then Shane asked me to be another resident. So but it was through getting introduced through Annie, because she's been doing it since the pub raves in like 2004, I think it was. So she got to know them then. So yeah, it's all been pretty sound. They're all like they're all really really good mates. There is a big family to it. Like there's loads of people that I've known, sort of like. Most of all my adult life, really. I mean, So
what kind of advice would you give to like aspiring DJs who want to try and get a residency somewhere? What's the most important thing? Is it like networking?
Don't just send people your like SoundCloud links without anything to say. Don't just expect. You're probably best to show up and just turn up and say and see. Fucking, just be a fucking head in the crowd and fucking. You'd want to anyway, because you love raving and per se DJing and sort of by proxy DJing or whatever. So they're pretty sort of they run concurrently anyway. So you'd want to be just out and about anyway, and I don't know, just be sound. Just be sound and just like do the work, do the 10,000 hours that you're supposed to do when you love anything or you want to get a sort of excel on something. Do the sort of Malcolm Gladwell rule. because you're better off doing that than not. You know, just be obsessed with it for ages.
I think you've made a good point there, because I think there is a real thing, definitely, whilst clubs were open, where you'd have a tendency of people who want to come down and play your night, and then a lot of the time you think, I've never even seen these people on the dance floor at any of the stuff that's happened, and you kind of like, the people that you want to play your night, you want them to be involved in that like outer community of clubbers, and like and like taking an interest in the culture of the night and what you're pushing and the music, and I think it's so much more than just sending somebody a SoundCloud link.
It's
impersonal.
It's not when you kind of know them and stuff like that, but it's always better to meet someone in a nightclub and chat shit with them and have a laugh, and I suppose the one way from when people you don't really see out and about, but they are sending like stuff like that, and I don't understand whether sometimes you're thinking you'd want to have a bit more of a personal touch and just get involved. Everyone's really encouraging, especially in Leeds. You know, everyone's really sound when you're out and about. So there's nothing. So if
I come down to Mint Club then when all this is over, and I come down to Bobby and I've got like a cassette of my latest mixtape, this is going to raise a few eyebrows, is it?
If we've been in a TARDIS and gone back in time at this point, like, we've got a cassette. But that'd be mint. That'd be pretty cool though. I'll have to buy a cassette player.
Yeah, absolutely. That might be a little bit of a blocker on that one.
No, that's good. That's cool. That shout to you. But no, but like just with anything, I suppose it's just a lot of people. It's good to like form your own collective as well. Do your own night, and then you get sort of asked. You know, we get other nights involved in Mint to do separate rooms, third room and stuff, because Mint Warehouse has got 3 rooms, sort of like to you know, of which to host. So there's that as well. Do you know what I mean? It's good to form a crew and a collective and just sort of be doing your own thing.
Definitely.
And then you sort of you know, because we're always getting involved with different sort of different collectives. That's the right word, isn't it?
Yeah. So in terms of like your actual sets, you've obviously you've played a lot of sets in your time, from warm up to like headline sets. Like which do you prefer, and which do you think's the hardest to play?
Warming up's hardest, definitely. It's a darker art for a start. You can really flatten a dance floor if you got it half going. You know what I mean? You can really like turn the cheek of everyone. Do you know what I mean? Or you can get people at the back of the dance floor or the bar just fucking running up if you get the right record out or whatever. So there's so much more. And like with all due respect to peak time, because I've been booked a couple more times recently, and you start playing, and it is more enjoyable. But it's sort of an easier job to do, but more enjoyable for it. But it's not as rewarding, because warming up's like really, really good fun. I'm considering myself a warm DJ as well. Brilliant.
So what's your top tip for getting, like, you say the dance floor's empty, there's a couple of people vibing, there's a few people at the bar you've spotted could be into it, what record are you putting in, how are you getting everyone on the dance floor?
Back in the day, you should just put a Mr. G record on, because it was like you get out of jail free tune. Like you just put a Mr. G tune on, because his drums are that good, and so everyone's just, because it fills the room. His drums are just amazing, and sometimes his tunes aren't doing much, but they're just full and solid. So I'd always just go for Mr. G tune if it was to sort of rescue a room or just fucking enhance one. That was my one. Or just get a record like that, something really drummy.
Yeah.
And Actually, a lot of the things I'd make acapellas and just put them over the CDJs when you're mixing, you know, just like 2-minute loops, and they're good. Like, so you can reference sort of tunes in a sort of warm-uppy way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a bit of a floor filler so that people.
But over something but not without playing the sort of big tune of it. You know, just sort of little. I mean, there's something that you do there. That I used to do there, but there's just loads of little fun ways to make it interesting to yourself. Like Annie would do loads of tricks, like she'd just kill like the top end for ages and just bring it up bit by bit, and before you know it, everyone's just getting more into it that way. It's just little tricks like that. You just end up getting a few of them, put them in your pocket, I suppose.
That's so inherently simple, isn't it? Though, just like a bit of EQing and then bringing it up.
Yeah, slowing it down. People don't realise it for a bit; they get used to it. So, and after a bit, it just brightens it up again.
That's really cool.
So what's it like playing with Annie? You've obviously like got a good relationship there, but do you sort of bounce off each other, or do you have a plan going into the back-to-backs?
I think so, yeah. Unbelievably. I think so, yeah. She's fucking...
No, I would never play with her again.
She can't stand playing with me, mate. That's what I was saying. She can. I think she's fucking... She's one of the best in the world, really. She really is. She loves it. She's got such her own style. It's mint to just hear her play records every time. Because she's always got brand new ones that she's bought and like sort of like just played, and she's just always going on the decks and always she's just one of the most passionate like record players as well. It's quite inspiring, really.
So do you kind of
that's the only answer, I'm afraid. I can't really give a shit. You know what I mean?
Do you ever plan any of your sets together, or do you just sort of just go?
No, just go with the flow, and usually one or two each, off on and off, depending on what time it is, really. We never have really. We just sort of fill a bag of tunes up there, or USB mic now, a bit of both. And she just fills a bag of records up, and it seems to work. It's just I have really good fun doing it. It's days. But yes, a lot of the times as well. Though now we sometimes I'll play upstairs and she'll play downstairs, and we'll take in turns doing that. Or at the courtyard she'll play outside, and I'll sort of play the first hour inside when it's finished, when the music's finished on the terrace. So yeah, it's only the odd time we go back to back when I think it's usually after like Mint Festival. So you do like the after party at Mint Warehouse. You know, or like if you're in the park, do you know what I mean? When you do the after party, you just end up just playing together. Yeah.
So when you're playing a set, what sort of tunes make up your set? Obviously, you've got your own label, E-Numbers. You produce as well, so I'm guessing you play a lot of your own stuff.
Yeah. Do you know what, mate? I've been doing it for like 15 years, really, making tunes, and I've only last 4 years started playing my own stuff sort of more regularly. Because I'm critical, and because like they just didn't sound as good as the ones I bought that other people made. It's that simple. But like I'm getting a bit more happy with what I'm making, but I don't play loads of my own tunes. It borders like narcissism, I think. If it was loads of your own tunes, but I do play tunes that like my friends have made, and I've got like loads of other songs and tracks that I've got, and I'm going to be putting out as well. So I'm going to do a big E-Numbers Bandcamp. So I've got loads. And I've got like projects I'm doing with other people, collaboration. So,
nice.
And so yeah, a lot of the digital stuff is just unreleased and just people's ideas. Really, they might not even be finished tunes.
So what are your plans with the E-Numbers Bandcamp then? Is that like a VA compilation?
Yeah. I was going to do that, but I mean, I've sort of spoke to a few people online about music, and I was going to do it last year, and then I just kept putting it off because there was no light at the end of the tunnel, really. Do you know what I mean? Like there wasn't. It just looked like, like any dance floor that did open had to have a pub like picnic table in it. So it wasn't really like. Yeah. It wasn't. I just thought I'm not going to put anything out yet. Do you know what I mean? We'll still wait till it gets a bit more sussed out. So so I did. I'm going to start doing them like when everyone starts getting vaccinated. Probably start putting them out then. I don't know. I'm going to start putting. I put them out this year anyway. Before the summer, I think, and just start doing releases every couple of weeks and do the same sort of thing. Where the first two releases was like an original of like mine and sort of like 100 Hertz or mine and Voigtman, and then we just remix each other's original. Doing a couple of them like that and a couple of just 4-track EPs. But I've got quite a lot coming up. Yeah. So that's going to get all organised too. I'll put the first two releases up for digital release on Bandcamp as well. That's all going to be gone.
So I guess you might be accepting demos, or you'll obviously send out your own demos as well to
of course
labels.
No. I'll listen to everything. If you send us anything to everyone, Bobby at themintclub.com. I forgot my email. Bobby at themintclub.com. Yeah.
So what would your advice? What would your advice be in terms of sending and receiving demos? Obviously, you've a label owner yourself. And
again, like that's. Go on, Sorry.
Obviously, as a label owner yourself and as an artist as well, you've been on both sides of it. What in your experience, what are the do's and do nots of sending demos?
Don't do it like a template email that you send to everyone. You know, don't write nothing, or don't just have like 3 or 4 words. You know, have a nice, just like, just a nice personal message, I suppose, or just like nothing. Just describing like what it is. It's just. I suppose it's anything. I'd gauge that to be common sense, though. You know what I mean? I don't mean that in a nasty way, but I think like just like whatever you'd expect to want to sort of read as well. Like I remember when I was sending demos out, and I was just like, because I'd send demos to people that I'd like really like the music of, or it sounded sort of similar to, because I just came out that way, and sort of just sent them in, not to try and put out as a demo submission, but just to say, look, I like your tunes, and here's this, and da-da-da. So and that led to a release, but it was initially me just sort of asking if people listen to him, really. But it's been so, and it's not about, but it's just that there's a lot of people that don't do that, and it's not essential, you know. So much. I usually just because I'm putting a mix together. Usually, I always say, "Has anyone got any demos?" So I'm not really like bothered about that. Everyone, I'm asking for, so people just I would just try and get a day where I'm just seeing what who's got anything like online, and that's led to a couple of E-numbers releases as well. So yeah, just but regarding the personal thing, it is nice to do, but it's not that essential to be like really like over the top nice. It's not like that. But it's better to get them emailed as well, I suppose, rather than on Facebook. I suppose that's another thing. Only because it just gets cluttered with, like, you know, because I just chat bullshit with my mates all day on that. Do you know what I mean? So I've missed loads of stuff. So yeah, probably best to stick to email.
Good stuff.
How do you think? So, as far as if somebody sent you music, and you were talking about maybe it not being like a formal like demo submission, how useful do you think feedback is for like an aspiring producer, like to bring their sound on?
Oh, it's amazing! It's incredibly useful. It's good to have like feedback, sort of critique, sort of a forum within your friendship circles if you're making music, and so as your mates and stuff, or if it's something I found really useful, because I had a mate who's really good at making tunes. I was like, right, what's missing here? And he just tell me, they say this needs to be louder, or there's room for some bass and you're not using it because there's more room at the bottom that you could be occupying. So yeah, just sort of like yeah, that was handy. Through that you sort of get to know sort of sonics and, like, you know, how to lift a tune a bit better. And because especially on Ableton, you know, it's quite linear and sort of flat sounding, so you are up against it, like, to make it sound good. It's quite a blank canvas, sort of sonically. So you've got to and when you sort of when you sort of juvenile, your ears are towards making music, you don't really know what frequencies you're not occupying. Do you know what I mean? You don't really know what you're using. So I didn't know. I was making tunes with a mate. I thought, oh, you put loads of fatness at the bottom here. I was like, oh,
louder is better, isn't it?
yeah. Until it goes really horrible.
Turn it up to 11.
11, yeah.
Triple those kicks. Three's better than one. Raise the volume. Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point, mate.
So obviously, you've now started doing Ableton tuition yourself. How's that going?
Yeah, it's going really well, mate. It's going really well. I've just I sort of use Ableton in a sort of I just call it a non sort of academic way, in the sort of way it was taught, or way it can be taught, or the sort of use. I've used it since Ableton 1, so I've still used it like I'm using Ableton 1 a little bit, or maybe Ableton 5 onwards or something, when it sort of started to get more refined. So I've got sort of my sort of ways of going on it, but when I've showed people, and like sometimes it's just like little hour lessons, and someone's in a creative block, and I can just show them a few tricks, and enough to sort of have sort of so they can sort of look at it in a different way, I suppose, and thus finish off some tunes, or therefore finish. Yeah, it's really good. I've got a lot of people from teaching from the ground up, and I've got someone I'm going to put the tunes out that are that good. Like, so I was just like, what you actually doing with these? Like, so
yeah.
It's been mad. It's been mad, really. It's snowballed. It's something that I'm going to have to like look at because I'm really enjoying it. I really like helping. I was a care worker for 20 years. People with disabilities. So I'm used to helping. So I've had a couple of years off, and I can. It's just I've just find it really it's not so much easy, but just comfortable to do sort of, with want of a better expression, like as a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's really good. Yeah, proper. Yeah.
So in terms of like the students that have come to you, what sort of music styles have you been teaching? Has it just been sort of house music, or is it all sorts of different styles?
Yeah, there's been a couple of guys like my mate John was making some garage the other day. There's been loads of variables of house, deep house, some really like upfront, sort of like more like 90s style sort of house now. But there's not been anything that's like too wavering from those genres, if you will. Like, so it has been sort of mid-tempo based. But I'm willing to take anyone on. Like, sounded really willing to take anyone on. No, but I'm willing. I went to sort of
Bobby ODonnell will take anybody.
I know, and take it all on. Honestly, no one. No, seriously, I want to get to the point where I'm sort of delving into different genres in that sense. So, definitely. And I play guitar all my life, so I'm thinking of opening up and teaching like DJing as well, really. With Annie as well, so she'd be up for that. So I think we're gonna like develop it into that. So yeah. So I'm sort of going to sort of elaborate on it. I can.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I think obviously there's no better time, really. There's so many people wanting to get into producing and DJing now.
And Ableton's free, mate. Ableton's free for 90 days, so you can sort of have a go on it. I've been fast tracking people that have been downloading Ableton for 90 days, so they can just sort of get to grips with it quicker, enjoy it more, and sort of make some tunes within the 90 days, which is really, really like sort of, it's plausible that happens basically. Like you can do that as well, easy.
It makes all the difference, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, because it can be so frustrating. You could be like banging your head against the brick wall when you're trying to learn the differences between various different types of tool sets and Ableton. Honestly,
oh mate, it makes
a huge difference.
Yeah. If you've had people how have you learned? Which way did you learn?
So initially, it was through somebody like yourself. It was from a guy called Chris Q, who does a lot of.
Right, yeah.
He does a lot of production stuff, and then recently been doing a lot of stuff with Josh Baker on Syntho as well. So
I know Josh is me.
It's an ongoing thing, isn't it? Learning and getting to grips with sound, and that for me is
it's never ending.
The most important thing. Like it's just the beginner's mindset. There's always more to learn. There's always room for improvement, and that's
that's always
good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's so addictive.
It's infinite. It's infinite because you can't.
There is no spoon.
No. I mean,
I went down the.
Alex? Yeah.
I went down the easy route, and I just took one look at Ableton and thought, "Fuck that! I'm going to go on Fruity Loops."
And what did you think? You thought, "Fuck that," and then what?
Went on Fruity Loops instead.
Oh, fair.
You just like the Duplo drawing painting by numbers on those blocks.
Exactly. It looks much nicer.
I saw that the new Fruity Loops. It's quite like the door, the layout of it. It's quite mad, isn't it?
I'm gonna have a look at this. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I just found it simpler to learn on.
I had an iPad. It was mad.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the idea of being able to use Ableton, and I sort of should know how to do it. But it's even like the simple stuff of just like knowing how to put something in a loop, or like the session, work out the session view and the other view. It just like confuses me a bit.
It can be like decoding a bomb, mate.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Mate, I'll well, if you want fast tracking, mate, let me. There
you go.
Quick plug. He does it all.
So I stay in the session view for ages. So just get to grips with that first.
Yeah. So is that what you like? Is that how you create a tune?
And then I arrange it. I arrange it last minute, like reluctantly. No, I just get loads of. You just sort of get. I get the tune to the peak of the tune, and then just deconstruct it in the other one, and the sort of just like sort of paste it in, basically.
So do you use?
In mind, yeah.
So for somebody who's like never really used Ableton before, and like there's obviously so many thousands of sample packs and plugins out there, what would you say? Is it better to have, all of these fancy plugins and sample packs, or do you just use what's in Ableton already? What do you reckon?
No, I'd get some sample packs. Just for added colour. Like Ableton will have, like, if you use everything from there, you'll have that same colour with everything. With it, that sort of sonic sort of colour of the same thing. So you'd want to have different sound sources, basically. Some different loops or little things to cut up and mess around with. So yeah, everything, both. Just use both, but don't bog yourself down with too much. Like restricting yourself is a good way to finish music. Like like there's a lot of tunes that used to work, like the Amiga tunes that people used to make music on that. They still make like jungle on that. But like my mate Pete Cannon does. It's only got 4 channels. Like and the result, you get loads of results out of it. So like you've just got to sort of not go on a massive download spree of loads of sample packs, because you'll just end up collecting sample packs and do nothing with them.
And is there a certain approach to that within your workflow which encourages this sort of limitation? So what I mean by this, what do you have a template for what you use for your productions? Like when you approach a project?
No, I don't have a set template. I just make one up each time. But I do have delay and reverb on the sends, and then 2 MIDI and 2 audio channels, and that's it. It's nicer for the computer to load up that way as well. Just takes quicker to load up. I feel I don't know, but it's just I don't like to. I just have my sort of way of working, so I don't really want to have like a set template all done out. I like to just start from the beginning, really. Each time, yeah.
And if you were making an EP, would you just start again, or would you use it from the same project and maybe just delete some of the things out?
I've done that loads of times. I've just like you've got like an idea that's good, and it's like, right, well, come on, this isn't going to finish. But
we can milk another one out.
No, but I can take that part and take that and put it into another tune. Like the car's absolutely fucked. Like the body of the car's absolutely fucked, but the engine's still alright. The seats are still alright, so we can take the seats out and sell it. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much it. Yeah. It's not that, but it is really, isn't it? But yeah, it's just like it's like the share. So I just do that, like take bits out of tunes and just bin off the other parts I'm not using. So yeah, I've done that with quite a few tunes really, because there's quite a few things that are like worth keeping, but the bits around it aren't.
So like what percentage of like stuff that you make would you actually finish off, or do you try to finish everything?
No, about 10 or 15%. Yeah, I fuck off loads of stuff. Like I get sick of stuff, and probably 10 or 15% straight up. Yeah, about it. Loads of people do make themselves finish everything, even if they don't want to. I suppose it's a really strict rule to have on yourself. But then I finish 10%, 10 to 15% tunes. But then I'm always trying to keep the idea process up rather than sort of get to the point where you feel like you're doing it as work or spreadsheet or something. Try and keep it fun. If it doesn't sound fun, I just start something else.
Because then when it becomes forced,
try and keep that. Yeah, because
it's over.
because I've done it for a little bit. Like I've done it for a little bit, so I like to make tunes quickly. That's what it is. So I can, if I can get like 2 ideas, I can make a couple of tunes in a day if I have a good day. Like, but I can start 4 things in a day and just like sack them all off. So it's a bit of both, you know what I mean? But there's no real way. But I don't really like to go back too much. Do you know what I mean? I just move on. So, yeah.
So I think that's very good advice about not being too precious about the stuff you make.
No, it don't matter. It don't matter, man. Just
move on.
And if it is something there, then you will go back to it. So. Yeah.
So did anybody
want to find it?
Did anybody teach you? Did anybody teach you the ways of Ableton, or did you just sort of pick it up yourself?
No, it's before YouTube. There was inbuilt help. It wasn't even called tutorial. They didn't call it tutorial. They called it help.
Help!
At the moment, it was like it was a bit like that. Yeah. It was a bit like, yeah, I need some fucking help on it. Like, but I went round to my mate Jed, and he was the one that would show me other things because he'd been using Reason and then just got into Ableton. But he's just fucking well talented and just an absolute bopping with stuff. So he'd show me how to use it. Yeah. So that was I picked up quite quick really. I got into like doing mixes on Ableton. I was doing like mixes in like Acid and stuff like that, Acid Pro, this oldest program. So I'd warp the tunes in Ableton because I found out about this warp feature, so you can put stuff in time. That was like made by a drummer and then mixed that. Cause it was like cut and paste sort of stuff I was messing around with like back in the day. Well, it was good 17 years ago, I think. But it's mixing all sorts together, so you could do that with Ableton. You could tighten drummers up to sound like they were syncopated. So that was an eye opener. So I didn't start making. I was just using it for sampling, really, and then started making tunes in 2006 with it. 7.
Nice.
14 years, yeah.
So were you a DJ first and then a producer?
Yeah. I started DJing in '98, so got some decks in '98, and I was just playing like house and tech house, like sort of like circulation-y stuff. I mean, my brother got all the circulation ones, and we got into them. We started playing all sorts of drum and bass, and I learned how to scratch. I just got into beat juggling and scratching for ages, and just smoked loads of weed and did that. They go hand in hand.
You know, that's exactly what Nathan Cole said.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah, they just used to get munted and make tracks essentially.
Yeah.
Well, the Wiggle lads, that's a testament to that. Some of the top quality music to come out of that period of time.
Oh, I can't wait to see his interview.
It's a good one, to be fair. It's a good one.
Yeah.
From what he can remember, hazy memories.
yeah. One really big detail, Blur.
Absolutely.
Blur with loads of flashbacks.
So in terms of
look in the eyes.
So in terms of you've played on some massive lineups in your time, but what would be who would be on your fantasy lineup if you could choose a roster of DJs for an event? Who's making the cut?
Oh God. On the best day, Villalobos is still probably the best DJ going. He really is. He's had quite a lot of those best days in mink clubs and stuff, and it's just brilliant. He'd be there. He'd be on it. Let me think. I'm really liking sorry, I got a bit of sting on my the screen. Truly Madly and all them lot, the Ghost and all them, they're fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
The Ghost record shop, they have the access to the best records. So it's a joy to hear them out, just to hear new music. I can't really be asked ever listening to a tune that I know or I've got when I'm out. I just don't want any familiarity. It just needs to be just education, I think. When I'm out, I'm not. You don't really want play something we know. It's not really like that, is it?
Play something we can dance to.
Yeah, we'll lyrics. No, but it's it's nice to hear DJ playing loads of fucking alien sounds to you, not literally, but literally as well. But yeah, it's just that's what makes a decent sort of DJ for me now. There's Sugar Free, she's good. Bladder there, she's good. That crew of all them, they're all absolutely they're just so perfectly nerdy when it comes to records. So I don't dig that. I don't dig that much, man. I'm quite obsessed with making tunes, and I used to buy loads of records and be obsessed with it. I now just cherry pick. I'm not really that much into digging as much as easy as those people are. They're fucking brilliant. Yeah.
So you mentioned Ricardo there. He's obviously plays in Leeds quite a lot. I think I remember going to a Cocoon in the park where he played, and then I think it started raining, and then quite a lot of people left, which was a bit weird. But I think there was a few mixed opinions of Ricardo. He does sort of split opinion, doesn't he?
Oh, it went quite like, it was quite the internet sort of thing for a bit. That little thing, wasn't it? Like it booted off. I think even what's that one Wonderground jumped on it. I think that was funny. I don't know. It was just a bit. I don't know. I remember the Picking the Park in question though. But like, he just doesn't really give a fuck, does he? I suppose.
No.
He just does what he wants and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
right?
It's the other end
like,
of the scale, isn't it? Like,
know,
he
it's
is
mad,
the
it's
educator.
mad.
Fuck it, you'll dance to it. You've booked
Yeah,
me. I'll
it's
play
okay.
Romanian folk music for an hour, and it'll still be sound.
But he's better in the club when you see him play, obviously. But it's yeah. I think it was 2014 or something, wasn't it, or 15? 14?
It was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember it. I remember it well. I remember us going, fucking hell. Everyone started leaving. It was raining. It was like, oh god. Like I remember picking up on it. But then, yeah, I do. Yeah, it's funny.
And
but it went well. I think Carl Cox was on afterwards.
Yeah.
I think Carl Cox was afterwards.
Yeah,
and everyone.
Everybody loved him, but I think quite a lot. I heard a lot of people complaining, saying, "Why has Ricardo got his back to the crowd?" Was it you who was distracting him?
Was it me?
He was just talking to you.
The stage is that way.
He was just talking to you for the whole set.
No, not at all. No, not at all. I don't know. I don't even know. So, do you know, I wasn't even watching. I watched that on the video, and it does seem like he's got his back to the crowd, hasn't he? But I wasn't there watching it. No. I just remember people saying, "Oh, it's emptying out a bit," and I walked up and saw the end of it. But I didn't see like. I'm always buzzing around talking shit to my mates, like down, like around and about. You know what I mean? So I wasn't really like. I'm just always cheering someone's ear off, probably, or just having a laugh. You know what I mean? So yeah, I missed it, but I saw the sort of like end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So have you ever taken over from Ricardo or warmed up for Ricardo directly?
Yeah. Sounds. I've done it in the Mint Club. But on the terrace, Annie's done it for Ricardo and Zip, but I've played after them, which was quite hard. Like, but it was in a different room because they're shutting the terrace, and then they're going inside. So, like, it was easy. If I was have to play with them, you have to play after them on the same like sort of setup or in the same room. It'd be pretty horrible. So I'd rather not. Yeah. It was sounding in a different room. So his record finished, and then I started in the main room. So it was pretty sound. But yeah, no. Well, when he plays, he's always on the terrace, and so yeah, and they always warmed up for him usually. Do you mind if I just go and get a glass of water?
Yeah, sure.
2 seconds.
In terms of music, then, say if you were playing a set on the moon, what tune would you play?
It'd have to be a really loud one, wouldn't it? Or a really big one. Mr. G, no.
Really loud one.
A really, really loud one. I nearly said Mr. G again.
Mr. G.
The theme tune from Benny Hill. No, wouldn't it?
Isn't it?
No. God. Ability 2 Pressure Dub. Ability 2 Pressure Dub. It's 1990 tune. The remix of it. I think it was pretty sure it was made in Leeds on Basic or Out of Rhythm Basic. That's a good one to play. It's just pretty galactical sort of noises in there, and it'd be the perfect music wallpaper for
for Neil Armstrong
on there and staring back at the earth.
So it was the perfect soundtrack to Neil Armstrong's setting his foot.
Yeah, indeed.
Two-step for mankind.
Fake, though, wasn't it? There wasn't any moon landing.
That's what they say. Hey? Yeah, well, that it's grammatically wrong as well, because it should be it's a one step for a man, one small step for mankind, because sort of man is mankind, isn't it? So it's like, what? It's a small step for man, giant leap for mankind, but he should say a small step for a man, because he's referring to himself.
Bit arrogant, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was a bit much. So yeah, he needs to go back and
sort it out.
Sort your wording out. Yeah. Anyway.
Are you doing offering grammar lessons as well alongside your Ableton tuition?
That's where it stops. That's where it stops. I heard Stephen Merchant say it on a podcast, so it's not even mine. Not even mine, mate. I just sampled it.
So, Luke, I think you've got some topics.
Okay.
And we're going to ask you whether you think these things are overrated or underrated, and
Sweet.
just a little bit of an explanation.
Yeah, go on.
So the first one. So look, how it works is just going to say if something's overrated, underrated, and then like a little sentence of explain. First one, ghost producing.
Underrated. Do I have to say why?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, cool. It's sort of it would be, it's accepted, I think, because like it's just the producer's role really is just to sit there and tell the engineer what to do. And if a ghostwriter, if you're getting your tunes ghostwritten, I mean, you can sort of, so people can say like a pinpointer for the tune, and within that they're helping with production. So there's a grey area. It gets a bad sort of rap, and it's a dirty sort of word or a sly sort of gambit to sort of say, and in context or in action, it's not that at all. And it's grey. It's sort of a grey area than you think. So, yeah, it's still collaborative, even though you just sort of say what you sort of kind of vibe you want, and someone makes a tune. It's still slightly collaborative. But a lot of people, if they have ghostwriters, they might just be really into DJing as well. They might just not want to produce, but you know, it's a good sort of business card to get out there more and get more gigs. So they just get some people to make them some tunes. But you know, a lot of the times it can be sort of because there is a formula to sort of getting on a certain circuit, isn't there? Or sort of maybe not like, maybe more overground sort of circles. So ghostwriting's more popular there. So I don't really do it. I've done it once, twice, but yeah, twice. But I know people who do quite a bit. So it's a thing, but I've not come across it. You know, I'm just helping people on Ableton for mine. So it's quite sound. I'd probably feel cynical towards it if I was just ghostwriting all the time. Do you know what I mean? I would probably feel cynical, but I've only done it a couple of times, so it's not like I'm not really aware of it as a culture. You know what I mean? Or a thing.
No, good question. Second one, tech house.
Overrated.
Overrated.
How do you mean though? Like tech house is nothing wrong with like the elements of house music and the elements of techno mixed together to make a good record that is genuinely in between both genres, and it is a fair assumption to call it tech house. The tech house that we know now, or like the one that's referred to as tech house, like that's overrated in my opinion. It's just over the top a little bit, isn't it, in its sound? So, and it's got a huge audience. So I suppose that could be why it's overrated. I could class it as overrated as well, because it doesn't sound as good. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, my opinion is that it's a bit overrated. I like this game. Come on, keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Third one.
Okay.
Resident advisor, overrated or underrated?
Overrated.
Overrated.
It's handy. It's been a really good source, but I don't know. I don't really. Do you know what it is? I don't even go on it anymore. So I don't really. I don't find any. I know it's probably all cool to hate RA nowadays as well, but I just don't really see. I don't really like. I never used to go on it that much. It fizzled out about 4 years ago. But the podcast used to be mint, really good.
Exchange, RA Exchange.
Yeah, the RA Exchange are brilliant, mate. They are brilliant. There's the one with Genius who runs Rinse FM is fucking brilliant. Don't know why I've muted myself. It's fucking brilliant. It's really good. It's fucking mint, mate. Fucking well. Yeah. So yeah, and the actual mixes of that RA do, the ones on the Monday, like the actual DJ mixes, like I sort of like. It sort of changed. They sort of changed their style with them mixes, and so I just sort of dropped off around there, and then I'd look at sort of some of the things that they interview. I just don't know. I just wasn't really part of what I'm into, so I just not really going it.
Fourth one, loops.
Underrated. You can always make it into something else. You don't have to make it sound like a drum loop. You can make it sound like anything, really. Or you can twist it and make it sound like little stabs and pitch them down and make sort of crush sounds out of them. And you can feed them through other like sort of MIDI chains and get them sort of informing a rhythm. Like make them into like every part of the drum would be part of on-off note. Do you know what I mean? You can change it into MIDI anyway. So yeah, it's a basis. It's all right. It's a sound source. You don't just think you've just got that. Like change it.
And similar on this tip as well. What about hardware?
It's just fucking beautiful, isn't it? I don't know. It's not. It's underrated. Underrated. Then it's just the best. You can't be overrated. So it's yeah. The warmth of like a good I've got a 106. That's good. Really good for bottom ends. But and then like if you do put like I use like some digital sounds on top of that, and I've got a Korg TR synth, so that's a digital synth, so that just sits on top of the Juno really well. So the it's just get even one synth just for your bottom end, just for some bass notes, and you'll realise that you save yourself a lot of time.
What in like replicating that like warm bottom? Like,
well, yeah.
Replicate on a digital with like various different plugins.
Exactly, like the Behringer ones have got the Juno 106 emulation for £300. They've got the Pro 1 emulation, the Sequential Circuits Pro 1, which is like Annie's got one of them. Like they're the best synths going. Like they're the fattest, and it looks like it holds up. It sounds like it does. I've seen sort of like A/B comparison videos on YouTube. So yeah, that's good. I just for £300 you can just get a bottom end like sort of machine, and it would help. Like the Pro 1 as well. It's a mono synth, so it's only got one note at any one time, but it's not just for bass, so you can get loads of good riffs out of it. It's brilliant.
Final one. Mullets.
Underrated, mate. Okay. Under fucking rated. You know what I mean? Got like a fucking
fantastic.
They're making a comeback actually
every time.
They seem to be making a comeback.
They never went, mate. I've had this since I was like 13. It's been out of fashion 3 or 4 times though.
It keeps coming back round though, mate.
It's like an old fucking pair of slippers, mate. This haircut, right? But no. Some of them are getting silly though. Some of the mullets are getting silly. This is just an overgrown haircut in lockdown. So yeah, some mullets are just getting silly, but no, they're underrated. They still look.
When does the line cross between it being an acceptable mullet and
when it becomes like squirrel like or something like that, you know, like it becomes like no squirrel, like they look like there's like they look sort of a rodent or something like that. When the guys turns it into sort of like it gets really thin, or that looks really odd. But like a really fat mullet looks so stupid. It's brilliant, underrated, mate. And then, they're too good. They're just outrageous.
Underrated.
They're outrageous, so they're underrated. They're outrageous.
That is an audio tapas exclusive. Mullets are underrated.
Innit?
Good stuff. Is that all of them, Luke?
That's all of them, mate.
Nice. I love that. That was good. Good fun.
Well, we've got one more. We've got one more little game for you actually, just before we go. And have you ever seen 8 out of 10 Cats?
Sure. Yeah. Of course I have. Yeah.
Well, this is like that, but it's slightly different. We've decided to call it 8 out of Sven Vaths. And basically, I'm going to give you 8 statements, and you have to say whether you reckon it's true or false.
That he said?
No, this is just, it's got nothing to do with Sven Vath. I just thought that was a good name.
Okay, I like that. Okay.
So the first one, true or false? Dizzy Rascal has produced a melodic techno album called Boy in the Warehouse.
Unfortunately, false.
No,
Imagine that.
That's actually true. So next one is
Boy in the warehouse. He's not sat on the floor. He's just like stood in the middle of the dance floor, isn't he? On the Reaching for lasers.
So next one, Solomon is actually going to set to feature on the new Carlsberg advert with the strap line, "If Carlsberg did after parties."
Hugely plausible, but probably false.
I've heard that one's also true.
Yeah. Go on, mate. Keep going.
Next one is DJ EZ is breaking more world records, and he's actually recording a 4-week-long live stream.
He probably could. He's a
Could
machine,
be
isn't
true.
he? He probably could. Again, plausible, probably false.
He is a bit of a machine, isn't he? Like, I'm sure he just keeps doing these
A bit,
24-hour ones.
I don't know as well because, like, I don't know how fast. I can't believe how fast his hands are, man. Like, it's crazy from scratching and like cutting a fader. Like how fast he's like on those buttons is pretty mad. His timing's incredible.
Yeah, he's mega talented. To be fair,
does he mix like? He's so good. Does he mix like that for when he does those really long world record ones? Or does he just mix normally?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he does. He's
Does
relentless.
He just cutting and chopping like that? Fucking hell, mate! What a grafter.
I mean, I think shout out to DJ EZ. I think he raised like 87 grand for charity.
Did he really?
He probably turned off a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, he was not a fan of the mullet. He's not a fan of the mullet, is he?
No. He wouldn't see one either. He just. I wouldn't see his haircut. That's right.
So next one is, did you know, well, is this true or false? Pete Tong is going to be replaced on the Essential Mix by Gok Wan.
He broke up a bit when you said that. Can you say Pete? Go on, Pete Tong.
Pete Tong's going to be replaced on the Essential Mix by Gok Wan.
Okay. No, well, that's false, isn't it? I was just imagining it. I was imagining like the radio idents that he'd have, but Gok Wan, like not like they'd have like like Pete Tong, like really like low voice, like Radio 1, Pete Tong, Radio 1, Gok Wan. He does DJ though, doesn't he? He does lots of streams. Yeah.
He started DJing, but I'm just wondering when Pete Tong's going to have to stop doing the Essential Mix after Boris Johnson declares it non-essential.
Oh, hey, he's out tonight, isn't he?
So, Carl Cox and Eats Everything releasing an album together called Eats Cox.
Next.
Yeah, that is false, but I think they should do it.
I thought when you said recording an album, I thought, right, well, that's plausible. And I thought, oh, here we go. I know he's going to say it. Here we go.
So, Elon Musk, first man to play a deep house set on Mars.
True.
Yeah, that's probably true. I haven't actually fact checked any of these, but I think that's true.
No. Really? You've not? You've not fact checked?
And finally, DJing is now the #1 hobby in the UK, overtaking bird watching and Warhammer.
Yeah, I don't know about Warhammer.
Yeah, it's a tough one. There's
a Warhammer shop like downstairs from my flat. Like,
you never go in.
They still honestly, there's one around the corner in Leeds, and that like on the first lockdown, they were still meeting up, mate. You know what I mean?
Really?
They were still meeting. Oh yeah. They've not asked, mate. There was like 20 of them. They're still going in there. It's taken seriously.
No, they can't be defeated, but they can't be defeated by COVID.
Yeah, but they can be defeated by the amount of DJs that have started buying decks. There probably is more. They probably are down the scale actually. Train spotters. There's another one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just off down to the train spotting club after this. Actually, to be fair, so
yeah.
You're an average train spotter, aren't you, Jeff?
Well, don't get caught because it's £800 each just for you, meeting up outside your bubble and over the trains and that. But it's money well spent if you love your trains, isn't it?
Exactly. And who doesn't love trains?
Yeah, innit?
We'll be turning this into train tapas next.
Well, we could film another one just on a train, couldn't we? We'll just train shots.
Night Express with Bobby ODonnell.
Yeah. Have you seen that film? Have you seen that film? There's a wanking joke in there, but I'm not going to make it. We're better than that, aren't we? We're better than that.
We're definitely not. It's going to get degraded.
No. And on that note.
Well, you'll be glad to hear that's the end of Out of Sven Vaths.
Thank you for being such a good sport,
you need to write. You need to have these little sort of ident noise. You know, so it's Sven Vaths and just someone
that's coming in. That's cool. We'll edit that
you're doing it. Oh, I get it.
Definitely, and like little cuts of like Gokwan and stuff like that. Like it's
sound.
Don't worry, mate. Don't worry.
Brilliant stuff. Well, that was ace to do that. Good stuff.
One more question, actually, that Bobby, before you go, is imagine me and Luke are coming round to yours for dinner post-COVID. What's on the menu?
Oh, scallops for starters.
Oof.
Yeah. Do some nice
wine and dine.
Oh yeah. Do you know what? It's a steak night, isn't it, lads? It's steak night.
Yeah.
It's got to be. Let's get the steaks out.
Buzzing. Oil massage for dessert.
Make some nice garlic butter steaks. Just char some broccoli, char some asparagus. Do some nice potatoes somehow. However you like them, lads. What are you saying?
Fantastic.
For dessert. I don't know. Tiramisu, light, something light. There you are.
Coffee, banging. No, it sounds good.
Wicked.
All right, nice one. Well, thanks very much for that. It was good fun.
Patatas bravas.